Just a little update on our capital campaign before the homily. We have reached 75% of our goal, which means we will get back now 50% of whatever has been pledged to the Basilica. It would be good to have 100% because that money that comes back to us will be going for a new elevator. So I ask you, if you have not yet made your pledge to the capital campaign, you consider doing so before the month is out, because when this month is finished, then our efforts at the campaign are finished. 50% of all that is received goes to address important local needs, the education of our seminarians, and the care of our elderly and retired priests. So please again, keep this intention in your prayers. It is true that God wills everyone to be saved, and that is the message of the Holy Gospel. Further, it's clear that those who wish to be saved must receive God's forgiveness, but are called upon also to extend God's forgiveness to others. The authentic justice of God's kingdom is quite different from our flawed human notion of justice. Justice for us is basically when I have been wronged, then someone has to make it right for me. And what Jesus does is call us to love our enemies and not to seek retaliation against them. This is the mind of God, not of the human mind. To look at it in another way, we should be willing to follow the teaching of Jesus now, so that one day we may receive much more. In a recent conversation with someone challenging the church's teachings, they told me ultimately that the church was a joke. The joke's on you, sweetheart. The joke will be on you when you stand before God and tell him he did not know what he was doing when he sent his Son into this world, calling us to conversion. A question addressed in today's gospel is, how should a disciple of Jesus understand and handle earthly things or wealth, or what Jesus calls mammon, which is money or wealth? It can also be extended to whatever we put before God. Mammon, in particular, refers to money, but mammon is applied to all wealth, all attachment of this world. And we must remember that we can allow material things to replace God in our lives. 1 hour here a week is not sufficient to give our being and our all to God. We are called upon in the intervening days to pray, to strengthen our prayer life, our spirituality, and to give thanks to God for the great gift of salvation which he extends to us. And then we need to ask ourselves, how do we form our priorities? It seems to many in this day and age that more and more possessions become our focal point, that money becomes our focal point, but to what end? I've said before, God expects us to be secure and have security, but there's security and there's security. What do I share with God's church out of the abundance that God has given me? Or what do I do to help the less fortunate that truly do not share in the wealth of this world? As Jesus said, you cannot serve both God and mammon. It's a direct statement of Christ, and it's one which is made to help us reflect upon our relationship with God and one another. And furthermore, nothing about God, or nothing that is God's, is attainable by money. Money will not buy salvation. Money will not buy forgiveness. Money will not buy compassion. Money will not buy understanding. These are all free gifts of God given to us so that we might know and love God. As St. Paul wrote to St. Timothy, salvation is a gift. It is a gift granted through the mercy of God himself, and it cannot be bought, and it cannot be earned. Salvation is granted through God's mercy and the unique mediation of the eternal high priest, Jesus Christ, who died for us upon the cross and continues to intercede for us at the right hand of the Father from his place in heaven. Jesus, who gave himself as a ransom for all. Jesus, who incorporates us into this new life by means of the sacrament of baptism. The bottom line, my brothers and sisters, and the message that can be gleaned from today's Holy Gospel is, we can have only one master, and so we must ask ourselves which one we will choose to serve.